What's up, everyone? How are we tonight? Welcome to tonight's Late Night Agenda. As you guys know, I'm your host Craig. This is the Anfield Agenda YouTube channel, and how is everyone this evening? I can see we've already got some people in the chat. We've got Kirby Power, Stephen Richards, Origi, Tom Boland, Tom Montana, Brian, David, lots of people in. The Rev and I, how are we, guys? How are we indeed? Look, we can talk about last night's debacle. I think that's the right word we can use at this point. And I want to start off talking about the FA Cup tonight, but I just want to say hello to a few people first. David Dallow said, "Alright, Craig, Evertonians sniff their nan's knickers." Fair fucks to them. If that's how they get off, mate, fair fucks to them. I don't judge. As soon as I saw that time, I knew Craig wouldn't be here on time. Fuck you, I was a minute late. Fuck you, Brian, a minute late, pal. Give me a minute. I told Connor to set it for 10:07, but he was adamant it was going to be 10:06. So there you go. I'm on 1 minute late. 1 minute. Rocco, how are you? Cameron, Phantom Cross, Jason McCarthy, lots of people in, guys. How are we all doing tonight? Let's start by having a chat about the FA Cup. There's a couple of things I want to chat about with regards to this. We can talk simply about the 11 Klopp put out last night, or we could talk about the whole thing about disrespecting the FA Cup. We can also have a conversation about whether the FA Cup has lost some of its glitter or its glamour over the years. And I want to see what you guys feel after having time to digest last night's performance. Do you feel that Jurgen Klopp disrespected the competition? Which I don't, by the way, I have to be clear about that one. I feel that the situation Liverpool are in now, any other year, Jurgen Klopp probably looks at that a bit differently. And yes, I know Liverpool have put out weakened teams in the past, but we've strengthened this summer. Our squad has got a bit deeper. But I think what people need to remember in this situation is that Liverpool have a 29-year milestone hanging around their neck that they have to get off this year. We have to try and win the Premier League. That has to be the first and foremost focus of Jurgen Klopp and this team. Any other year, I think we might have gone a bit stronger for that one. But with the way we have it, with how close the league is, with the massive pressure that's on these guys to try and bring home that Premier League title, I fully understand why Jurgen Klopp went about it the way he did last night with that 11 and making, what was it, 9 changes or something like that. People say he didn't want to win it. I firmly believe that any 11 players that go out on the field there, including the manager, want to go and win a game of football. And I think Jurgen Klopp will always put out a team that he believes could win a game of football and is capable of winning a game of football. Now, at the end of the day, there's no one's going to sit here and say that was Liverpool's strongest 11 or anything like it. I'm not stupid, I'm not deluded, I'm not going to sit here and talk absolute shite. Any other year I'd be a little bit disappointed, but I've said all along, from my humble opinion, I just want us to go for the Premier League. We've got ourselves into this position. We can't just turn away from it now. Now, I've seen ex-players come out. Jim Beglin was saying that in his day he was proud to be part of a team that took the FA Cup seriously, and that, other people were saying Liverpool Football Club only exists to win trophies. I get all of that stuff, and it's hard for me to argue against wanting to win a cup. How can I argue against the fan that wants our club to go and lift a trophy? That doesn't make sense for me. They're perfectly sensible, but it wouldn't make sense for me to argue against them. But at the same time, there has to be a halfway house at times, and none of us can sit here and say that we believe anything Jurgen Klopp does isn't anything other than with the best interests of Liverpool Football Club at heart. The BBC were having a little dig about perhaps being the FA Cup being disrespected. At the end of the day, it's the only football competition they have on their channel, so I can understand completely that they'd want to big it up and make the FA Cup into this marvellous giant killing creation that it just really isn't anymore. Some of the older viewers amongst us, myself included, will remember the FA Cup, and the FA Cup used to be the centrepiece of the season. Getting to an FA Cup final a day out of Wembley or Anfield South used to be marvellous for Liverpool fans. It used to be a massive thing. And nowadays, well, yes, we'd like to win the cup competition. Attracting the best players in the world involves playing in the Champions League. Playing in the Champions League kind of trumps the FA Cup, I'm afraid. Look, that's just my opinion on it. I want to come to you guys. I want to know how you all feel about it. The comments are coming thick and fast tonight, so I'm going to try and get through them as quick as I can. Luke Dolan says, "No one remembers the FA Cup anymore. Only the league and the Champions League counts now." It's a fair comment, Luke. It's shitty to say, though, isn't it? And I'm agreeing with you and still thinking that it's a shitty thing to say. Yeah, it's really tough, because seeing your captain lift the trophy is always a wonderful experience. And yes, we would have all loved Liverpool to have gone on and done it, but it's dead and buried at this moment in time. I'd be much more concerned if we won that game last night and lost against Brighton next Saturday. That would piss me off infinitely more. Win the motherfucking league, said Stephen Richards. Carrie Bonner said, I think Klopp did go to win, but now we're out. We have 5 games in the Premier League before the Champions League game, and City have a possible 8 or 9. And that will tell, Carrie, even with their bigger, stronger squad, that will tell. And good. I'm good to see so many people are realistic. I've had some fun today on social media going back and forth with people. Some really good, I won't say arguments because that's not the right word, really good debates with people. Really polite and really fun-loving people who I enjoyed. I enjoyed having a bit of back and forth with them. But of course you always get the idiots as well. Wait, what else have we got? If you want to make the FA Cup relevant again after the 4th place spot in the league, give it to the FA Cup. The problem with that, Kyle, is a couple of things, mate. One, the FA Cup is run by the English FA, and I cannot see the Premier League, who are a different body altogether, mate, giving up a spot for the FA Cup. It just wouldn't benefit them in any way, shape or form, because, you know, it devalues their competition to an extent. They've fuck all interest in the FA Cup because it's an English FA thing, not a Premier League thing. I can't even remember who won the FA Cup last season, said Tony Montana. Who won the FA Cup? Who won it? Who won the FA Cup? I'm not joking, I can't remember it either. Who won the FA Cup last year? Anybody? Who won it? I can't remember. I'm like him. I remember City did a double, didn't they? Did City win the FA Cup? I fucking can't. Chelsea. There you go. Look, see, I can't remember either, and that was genuine. I couldn't remember who won it. So yeah, maybe that makes your point for you. Maybe I should be agreeing with you. Whoever wins the FA Cup next year should get the Champions League slot. Just gone through that one. It's very unlikely to happen because they're 2 different organisations. Can anyone even remember the last 3 or 4 winners of the FA Cup? Said Christopher. Mate, I can't remember the last one, as I've just shown myself up here. I wish we didn't have the hardest draws in the league in the FA Cup every fucking year, said Ferno. Yeah, we've, 5 out of our last 8 or something like that have been Premier League opponents, and we've lost most of them, I think. Do you think we're going to win the league, even with Manchester City right behind us? 100%, Anna. 100% I believe Liverpool Football Club will win the Premier League this season, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, obviously we've got less games to play now than Manchester City, and Klopp will have more time between ties to get the players ready. And look, we can say that that's a fucking stroke of genius, or we can look at it that we're disappointed we're not further in the FA Cup. But there's something else to this that I wanted to bring up and have a chat about. Paul Tompkins, who I'm sure a lot of you people might know from the Tompkins Times, from his work on statistics across social media. He used to work with Liverpool Football Club as well. He's a really, really, really intelligent man, and somebody who I look at as one of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to Liverpool stats and statistics on planet Earth. I mean, that's how highly I respect Paul Tompkins. Paul Tompkins, I was watching his post last night in social media, and I've been fortunate enough to interview Paul Tompkins before for a couple of podcasts, and I mean, what that man doesn't know about football and about Liverpool Football Club just really isn't worth knowing. Now, he's done research on this, and as I said, Paul is incredibly gifted when it comes to statistics, data analysis and stuff like this, and he said that there's a direct correlation between running the FA Cup and you dropping points in the league. He said his research shows that there is a direct link between you going further in the FA Cup and your league form suffering. That's just a fact, according to Paul. And I always said I cannot say highly enough how much I regard, or how highly I regard, Paul Tompkins. If Paul says this, I believe him 100%, and you can take it as gospel. So if there's a direct correlation between going further in the FA Cup and your league form suffering over the course of, I don't know how many years you did this research, then I'm all for going out of the FA Cup, I have to say. I'd love us to win every competition we go in for, but if you sat me down last night with the manager and you said, look guys, you can go through the FA Cup, you might go and win it, great, but there's a chance you're going to drop, on average, let's say 4 league points, and I don't know if that's the right number, I just plucked a number out of my arse there, say 4 league points. I'm saying fuck the FA Cup, Kloppo, let's go and win the Premier League here, pal, because we cannot afford to take a chance to drop 4 points in the league by being distracted. That's just my view on this, and again, that's with Paul Tompkins' research in mind. Right, where are we? We'll get to the centre backs, we'll get to the game against Brighton, we'll get to all that, guys, don't you worry about it. I just want to finish up on the FA Cup, because let's be honest, it's going to be the last time we talk about it this season, because we're out of it now. I'm glad we're out of the FA Cup as well. Still competing in two much bigger competitions. St. Clair. Are we ready for Bayern? With our injuries and Lovren out now, we're fucked. Far from it. Far from it, mate. By the time Bayern Munich comes around, Gomez will be back, Matip will be back, Van Dijk will be there, Fabinho can drop in at centre back. I know Van Dijk is ruled out for the first leg with a suspension, but I wouldn't worry about it. We'll have two centre backs. We'll be grand for one leg. Has any team ever won the domestic treble before? I'm sure it's been done. It has to have been done. I'm sure it's been done. We'll win the league, says Pacey Bits. Goldbridge said he's a bit annoyed us being knocked out, as we'll now be able to rest while everybody else plays. I don't know what to say to that, Jose. I can't put words in Mark's mouth. If you're looking at it from that point of view, if you're looking at it from the point of view of Jurgen Klopp having a full week minimum in between games now to get the guys coached up and get the guys rested, then yeah, he's right. You can't argue with that. It's just true. We'd all love to go further in a cup competition. We would, let's be honest with ourselves. But we are where we are, and where we are massively benefits us with our Premier League run-in. I don't think there's any two ways about that. City have 9 games in the same time that we have 5. Fuck the cup, said Ray Heffernan. Brian Morrissey said Paul Tompkins is the top man. No better lad out there. I mean, as you said, Brian, anything that man said I take as gospel, because he is my Yoda when it comes to Liverpool Football Club, put it that way. Hi Craig, I agree. I'm very concerned about the psychological advantage we handed City. What advantage did we hand City? If you're talking about the game against City, mate, oh yeah, I can understand your point there. If you're talking about the FA Cup last night got cool, then there's no advantage at all from that, in my humble opinion. But yes, there's no doubt Manchester City beating us will have put a pep in their step. Excuse that pun or whatever the fuck that was that I just made. Yes, there's no doubt about it, mate. That will have given them increased hope. I wish I could say different, but it's just true. They've narrowed it from 4 points. It could have been 10 points. A draw would have had it at 7. They are going to have the bit between their teeth. I wish I could say differently, but I'd be lying to you, pal. They have a lot of games though, and Pep Guardiola wants to win the Champions League, I think, more than anything else. Well, at least the ownership of Manchester City want to win that more than anything else. And he's going to probably be looking at this going, fuck it, let's try and win it all. And fair fucks to them, let them go and do their best. But at the end of the day, we're the ones with the points on the board. We're the ones with the points in the bank. I'd rather be in our position right now if we're only concentrating on the league. And I think we'll do it. I honestly think we'll do it. With Klopp having the time to get these players fully up to speed for each game. Possible warm weather training camp at the end of January as well. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty confident today when it comes to the league. The Revenite said, Craig, it annoys me fans putting down the FA Cup. I like this competition. We should have started stronger and put 3 or 4 youngsters out and fringe players, but not the whole team. I think his hand maybe was forced a little bit to an extent, pal. Henderson had a knock. Lallana had a knock. Obviously what happened with Degsy Lovren, he couldn't have foreseen either. So that's 3. Then of course he had to rest Van Dijk and Robertson. Maybe he could have played one of the front 3 perhaps. I just find it really hard to knock him because Gini needs a rest as well. Alisson for Mignolet, I mean, does a goalkeeper really need a rest? I think that was probably more about just giving Mignolet some game time because he's been in and around the squad and he hasn't had much. Look, there's arguments both sides, mate. I think the manager would have probably liked to have gone a little stronger than he did last night, but it seems that circumstances conspired against him and he couldn't really do it. Good evening, Chris. Do you know the best way to watch the Liverpool game is on Saturday at 3 p.m? I'm not sure, mate. Anybody know Chris? Can you give us an answer there, pal? Chris? Chris? Sorry, Gary. Chris doesn't have a clue. It's the first leg in the Anfield or the Allianz Arena. I'm only messing, by the way, Gary. It's on 3 p.m. I think you'll know it's not going to be shown on British television, pal. You probably understand where I'm going with this, but I can't come out and say it because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. The first leg is at Anfield, True Morgan. The second leg is at the Allianz Arena. Would you rather win the Premier League or the Champions League? The Premier League this year, 100%. because we haven't won the Premier League in so long, mate. Well, actually, technically, we've never won the Premier League, but we haven't won the English top flight in so long. As with this next year, after putting the Premier League in the bag, then, do you know what, I'm probably leaning back towards Europe, because I do love a European Cup. I'm not going to lie, I fucking love seeing the Reds Kings of Europe. But this year, it has to be the Champions League for me, buddy, because it's just been or the Premier League, sorry, it's just been too long. It's been far, far too long. Melissa Reddy reckons Joe Gomez could be ready as early as next week, so Anthony Peters. On that, the news that I've seen on the centre backs is that, and this I think was coming directly from the gaffer's mouth, Joel Matip is a little bit ahead of Joe Gomez in his recovery, and I think Joel Matip has been on the training field a little bit, so it's just fitness that he's trying to get back up, whereas I think it's maybe 3 or 4 days behind for Joe Gomez. So if we can get through the game against Bournemouth, I would say we probably have both of them ready then for the next game, which is pretty fucking good. Gives Klopp a bit of a breather. He can rest one. Perhaps he can play Virgil van Dijk into the ground then and know that he's going to be able to rest him for the first leg of the Champions League because he's suspended. That's why I don't agree with all these people saying Liverpool should go out and bring in Gary Cahill, but we'll talk about that later on. But by the time this player comes in, gets settled, fucking gets his hotel room or whatever, we'll probably have Joe Gomez and Joe Matip back, so we won't be in as bad a position. I'd love to win the Premier League and Champions League, said Mark McCullough. I'm pretty sure Van Dijk is suspended in the next group stage match instead. No, he's not. He's suspended in the first leg of the semi-final, Jack. It would make no sense for him to pick up bans in this year's competition and for them to be pulled forward for next year, buddy. I don't mind Hummels. He's getting on a bit. I remember him as a calm defender with his head screwed on, said Rod. With regards to what Rod's talking about there, he's touching on the transfer video I did earlier on that was linking Mats Hummels with a move to Liverpool. I don't know how true it is. It's coming from an ex-player. Is it Fjorthoff? I think it was coming from. Maybe he's putting 2 and 2 together and seeing that Bayern Munich aren't really using Mats Hummels at the minute. Jurgen Klopp worked with him at Dortmund, and maybe he's just thinking Klopp might go back there and try and get the player. I can't see them giving it to us, especially with us coming up against them in the Champions League. They're going to want to do us any favours and rest anybody's legs. They're going to want us to be ran into the ground. And also on that one, when it comes to bringing in a player on loan, I always question it in the long term, because yes, you might get somebody in that will cover you for 2, 3, 4 games, but why benefit somebody's career that is going to fuck off in a few months and not really benefit us? Why not give somebody like Hoover a chance? Somebody like Masterson, somebody like Nat Phillips, somebody who's going to need that experience, and that experience will go on and benefit the club. They're probably going to be on a similar level here if we're talking about a Gary Cahill, for instance, against Nathaniel Phillips. There's a reason Gary Cahill isn't playing for Chelsea. It's because he's shy. It's because he's too slow. He doesn't suit their system anymore, and he won't suit theirs. So I don't like the idea of a Gary Cahill coming in. But a Mats Hummels, as much as I'd still be against it, I'd rather bring it up one of our youngsters. I can understand that level of player, but again, do we need somebody? 2-3 weeks? I don't think so. In the summer, 100% move on Lovren and fucking move on Matip, as far as I'm concerned. Both of them can't get a run of games together. I think somebody pulled up a statistic that Dejan Lovren has only put a run of 6 games together once in his Liverpool career, maybe, and he hasn't done 8 games, something like that, which is embarrassing. And we know Joel Matip is injury prone as well, so what's the point in having backup centre backs that aren't worth the shit when they're called upon, because you will only get a few games out of them and they're picking up knocks, muscle injuries, strains. Look, no, I'm not talking about the calibre of footballers. I mean, if they were fit, I'd have no problem having them as a backup centre backs, but you can't rely on them. If we have a long term injury, we're fucked, because both of them are going to pick up a knock and we're going to be back to square one. MUFC Gamer said, the truth is the FA Cup is not the same as it once was. Wait, let me go down to some more recent comments and we'll scoop back up later on. I'd like to win the Premier League, the Champions League and the lottery, says Rod. So no agreed there at all, Rod. No agreed whatsoever. Congratulations to Mo, African Player of the Year. Absolutely spot on, Anthony. And for those of you who missed it, it was very, very recent. For the 2nd year running, Mohamed Salah has been named the CAF African Footballer of the Year. He beat Sadio Mane and Aubameyang to that award for the 2nd year running. So massive congratulations to Mohamed Salah on another well-deserved award. The guy is he's fantastic. He's the best one-season wonder in the history of football, isn't he? God bless him. What another achievement from Mo Salah. Congratulations to him. Of course, congratulations to Sadio Mane and Aubameyang as well, who are nominated for the award. Two excellent footballers. But there was always going to be one winner there, and that's Mo Salah, who's had a fantastic year last year. You could not deny that man that award. What else have we got? Higuain to join Chelsea in the next 24 hours. I honestly haven't got a clue, Anthony. I haven't got a clue. What else we got? Keeper Origi, we need strikers. We'll get to transfers as well, don't worry. Anything else on the FA Cup or the centre-back situation before we move on? You could play a stick next to VVD in front of Alisson and he'd not let anything in, said David Davies. I agree. He'd talk the stick through the game, no problem. Rocco said, I think Liverpool need to sign one more centre-back considering all the injuries. Mo Salah, Mo Salah, Mo Salah, running down the wing. That's Joshua's comment. I'm not just randomly singing things. Did you guys see Sadio and Mo dancing? But according to some Egyptians, they hate each other. They definitely do not hate each other. You could see the love between those front three. Where else do you see Mo Salah or somebody like Mo Salah handing Bobby Firmino a penalty and saying, go on son, get your hat-trick? I mean, there's nothing but respect there between those three lads. Reports in Turkey suggest that Fenerbahce are hopeful of reaching an agreement to sign Adam Lallana by the end of the week. What I'd say there, Louis, to that one is it's Damian Kamoli bullshit. Liverpool aren't going to let Adam Lallana go this week. Not a hope. The manager really, really rates Adam Lallana, and I think from what I've heard, he sees him as vital to the run-in for the team. If he's fit, I'm probably nearly starting him against Brighton. I was thinking about my team earlier on, and he came very close to making my first 11 because he's going to be fresh, and we might get 60 minutes out of him, and then I'd be looking at bringing on Shaqiri after that. Craig, Keita made the African Team of the Year, which is brilliant. Congratulations to Naby Keita on that one. And congratulations to everybody, of course, who was named in the African Team of the Year. There's some absolutely unbelievable talent in African football these days. Remember when we brought in Stephen Corker on loan? Yeah, that was that has to go down as one of the strangest loans we've had in the club. Although Mauricio Pellegrini, was that the guy's name, from Valencia, who went on to become a manager as well. Yeah, he was a strange one. He was so fucking slow, that guy, when we brought him in. Paisley Bit said Craig will get far in the Champions League. Yes, we will, because we're fucking brilliant. No, I don't know. Look, it's going to be difficult against Bayern Munich, but I always back our guys. Hi Craig, watching you on our new TV. As I said yesterday, Louise, seeing my ugly noggin in 65 inches is it must be fucking scary. Before we move on, I've got something to share with you guys. I love reading through some of the trolling comments on Twitter. Or on YouTube and Twitter. It's something that fills my time when I'm bored. So I found one last night which I think perfectly sums up everything to do with trolls. I mean, if you were to play troll bingo, I believe this comment, it's a full house. You've got everything. So here's the comment, and I'm gonna bear with me when I read it out. Fuck you, bitch. You want the team not to lose. Ugly ass, every team lose. So calm down, motherfucker. Big foreheads, what the fuck, man. Oh, fuck you, bitch. You want the team not to lose. Ugly ass, every team lose. So calm down, motherfucker. Big foreheads, what the fuck, man. No full stops, no commas. Obviously the fucking spelling's all over the place, but I thought about this long and hard over the last day, and I was saying it to my missus and Connor, and when our channel reaches, or if our channel ever reaches 100,000 subscribers, I'm getting that comment tattooed on my body. I'm getting it all. I'm getting the icons underneath it, everything. I'm getting every single word of that comment tattooed on my body because, as I said at the start of this little segment, that's like troll bingo. Everything is in there. An idiot that can't spell, a bit of abusiveness in there. Obviously his grammar is all over the shop. No full stops, no commas, nothing. It's perfect. It's troll heaven. And I love a bit of trolling, so I don't want to give out the guy's name, but he is the biggest idiot I've yet to come across. in the comment section of YouTube. So because of that, I feel like he deserves to get a tattoo when we reach 100,000 subscribers, and I will stand over this. You remind me. I've got an image of it. When we get 100,000 subscribers on the channel, that will be tattooed on my body as a little memento of the shit that we've had to put up with along the way from absolute cabbages. Shakespeare, said David Davis. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's tears running down my face reading it. I mean, the last line in particular. Motherfucker, big foreheads, what the fuck, man. Ooh, more tattoo promises, said Rod. Maybe I'm just looking for an excuse, Rod, to get another tattoo, actually. That's most of the Liverpool haters, to be honest. That noise rival fans were hating on Hoover. Disgusting. Somebody was calling him Dyson in the chat yesterday, which I found absolutely hilarious. Louise, I don't know where the tattoo is going. That much I've been thinking about, but my arse makes complete sense, doesn't it? I was thinking of putting it on my arse cheek. That makes absolute sense, because that's where it belongs. Right, where have we got? Sorry about that one, guys. That's just something that made me laugh last night. I told you guys, I do appreciate trolls, but I appreciate a high caliber of troll, not this type of idiot. There's more cabbages than a fucking allotment, said Stephen Richards. That's the best troll comment I've ever heard, said Kirby Power. Craig, you and Connor should make a short video just showing replying to idiots. Gark did one called Mean Tweets. I seen that. He did it for the Sportsman. I'm going to be very careful what I say about the Sportsman because I'm pretty pissed off at them over something that they wrote, but I did see Mark replying to those mean tweets, actually, and yeah, look, I don't actually get them too much on Twitter, to be fair. I'm okay on Twitter, but Jesus Christ, some of the shit I get on YouTube is hilarious, and it's not just me. Anybody that makes content gets these comments. And maybe people think that they're being abusive towards us and they're hurting us, but I can promise you, from my point of view, I just look at these and I fucking laugh my ass off, because I've yet to find somebody who's articulate and can actually get across what they're trying to say and insult me properly. And I'd respect somebody that could. Right, anyway, enough about that, but you have my promise. 100,000 subscribers, I'll be back. That's getting tattooed, probably on my ass. That's too funny, Craig. Sounds like something I would say when I'm half pissed. For anybody that watches It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I don't know how many of you guys might watch that, I said to Connor that that's the most Charlie comment I've ever seen in my life. Because if you've ever seen anything Charlie's written in It's Always Sunny, it's nonsensical crap just like that. Have you ever spoke with DT? No, I haven't. Well, look, everybody knows I've had my offer out to DT. He probably hasn't seen it because let's be fairly honest about this. I'm irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Himself, Mark Goldbridge, Robbie, the guys at Red Ben TV, they're all top of the tree, and little old me is down at the bottom here. But my disregard and dislike for that man is it's very fucking strong. Put it that way. Craig, on your earlier video you mentioned from transfers. In my opinion, Hummels, he's too old for one thing. Werner, yes, all day long. Can't remember the other one, so won't comment. Who was the other one? Let me just check my notes. I can't remember who the other one was, actually. Transfers. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yes, it was James Rodriguez. That was the other one. Sorry, how could I have forgotten that? We'll get to that later on. He has a point, in fairness, like, big foreheads, what the fuck, like. Had me paranoid as fuck all day going around going, look at the size of your forehead, Baldy. Look at the size. I was actually thinking of growing my hair for the laugh as well. Sonny is genius, said Brian. It's one of my favourite shows of all time. Give that mighty troller a fake troll spanner. You've got to love the trolls. They really are good value. Frickin' hilarious, said Claire. Good evening, Craig. How are you today, mate? Said Jersey Boy. I am tickety-boo, my friend. How are you? Tickety-boo. Right, can we have a chat about Naby Keita? I think Naby Keita is a topic we need to have a little chat about. Now, I have a theory on this, and I was saying to people all day that if you wanted to hear what I had to say and to come onto YouTube, because I can't really articulate it in words on YouTube, because, you know, it would take me fucking 6 or 7 posts and I couldn't be arsed going through all that. So look, here's my thoughts on the Naby Keita situation. Has Naby Keita hit the heights that he once or he should have done at Liverpool? No. Does that mean Naby Keita is never going to do it? No. Has Naby Keita's first 6 months at Liverpool been a success? No. none of that I don't think can be argued against, because it's pretty true. But I have a theory on this, and bear with me, and I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Firstly, I want to start off this by saying I believe Naby Keita is going to be a fucking rock star for Liverpool Football Club. I believe when he settles in, be it at the end of this season, the beginning of the next season, whenever it is, we will see somebody who is pure class. And we'll be looking back at this now and just saying, how silly were we to ever doubt the man in any way, shape or form. But here's my thoughts on this. And it happened with Divock Origi as well, before we bought him. When we buy somebody and we buy them 6 months in advance, I think it's only human nature that perhaps their mind isn't 100% on their job. So we know Naby Keita's form dipped with Leipzig in the second half of last season. Now I'm wondering, has it been difficult for him to find that inner fire again, or that mentality, that state of mental awareness that he was in when he was bursting through the ranks at Leipzig, when he came from Salzburg to Leipzig and he burst onto the scene and he was just a swashbuckling, take no shit, go through people, box to box midfielder that had absolute fire in his belly, hunger in his heart, and was going at things 100%. I wonder when he got the move to Liverpool, not that he was resting on his laurels, but it's only human nature that you don't go into tackles 100% a little bit, or you put 80% into a game and not 100% because you're almost a little bit afraid of picking up that injury that might scupper your start to your Liverpool career or something like that. That's what I'm worrying about here with Naby Keita. I'm wondering, is he in that kind of mindset, and it's difficult for him to pick up his form again and get back to where he was? And that's before we even start talking about getting into English football and culture and learning the language and finding somewhere to live and settling down and finding mates. And there's so many other little bits and pieces that we take for granted when footballers move countries. But I just wonder about that. I wonder, is there something in buying somebody 6 months early? Is there a risk involved in it, because the second half of that season then they may not perform? Remember what happened with Origi. He was dog shit after Liverpool signed him. I think he was voted one of the worst players in the league. Just a thought. I'd love to know what you guys have to say in it. I could be talking out my arse here. I could be talking absolute nonsense. But it's the only thing I can think of outside of the obvious, that he's just taken time to settle, as to perhaps why he hasn't gotten to even where Klopp seems to think he should be at this point. Now, I do love the guy. I love him so much, I got him on the back of my shirt, and I think he's going to be a superstar. And it's the reason he's on the image there beside me tonight, getting a hug by Klopp, because I've absolute faith in the man. And I certainly won't be talking about writing him off at any time soon. But I just want to know your thoughts and see if anybody's had something similar. Craig, I think he's adapting to the pace of the Premier League, said Alpha G. Scotty, good night, buddy. I know you're up early for work, pal, so thank you for dropping in. Naby, Fabinho and Oxlade-Chamberlain is pure sex, said Ferno. As he is. It is Ferno, mate. I look at those three as well and I just think, oh, they're going to tear shit up. Crosby Red said, Keita will come good, just needs more time than we expected. Only came to a new city and league a few months ago. Will Oxlade-Chamberlain be back for the Bayern game? I would say no, Tyler, in all honesty, mate. He might be back training at that point, but I don't think you're going to see him get game time. Maybe second leg, even a few minutes, probably pushing it. I'd say you're probably talking March by the time he's realistically available. You probably see a couple of behind closed doors friendlies, to get him back up to some type of fitness. Kate is playing in a more physical league and he's still learning English, the lingo and the culture, said Pepper Red. I think Klopp inadvertently put Naby Keita under pressure by talking about how people shouldn't expect Fabinho to kick on straight away because he'd come from a totally different system, unlike Naby at RB Leipzig, said Brian Morrissey. I trust Keita will settle, said Pepper Red. I love Naby, he'll end up ripping the Premier League. He's our new year signing, said Anthony Peters. Rod rightly says Naby is not Markovic. He most certainly is not. Don't know why people are writing Keita off already. Many players look ordinary in their first season but go on to be successful. And you're right. You are absolutely right, mate. The Premier League is littered with people who have come in, struggled in their first season, and the second year hit the ground running and tore shit up. Naby's form will come. He takes a bit of time. It's proven, said Paul Jones. I still don't know what Naby's position is, said B Squad 12. Maybe it does have a mental impact on the players, to be honest. It happened with Keita and Origi. There was a pre-agreement with them. Luis Suarez, first 6 months was pretty shit. Wow, look what happened there, said David Davies. Yeah, he turned out to be alright, mate, didn't he? Claire Dean said, I think Keita will come good next season, maybe for the latter stage of the Champions League as well. It's possible, Craig, but also if you look at other players, Salah for instance, not great at Chelsea, good at Roma, awesome at Liverpool. Could be he's taking time settling and maybe he's a little homesick. Again, John, anything is possible, and we have to be realistic about this and give him time. You cannot write somebody off after 6 months. He's here for what, 5-6 years, something like that. Give the guy time to settle. We've seen glimpses of his ability. He hasn't put it in back-to-back games yet. He probably hasn't even got a whole 90 minutes yet at the top level. But you see little things in his game that lets you know what's there. The guy is quality. He really is. Even Mo didn't set the Premier League alight until around this time last year, and he'd been in England before, said Crosby Red. Love the comments, guys. Love them. Keep them coming, please. What else have we got? True Morgan said, well, he was injured earlier in the season. Before that I thought he was great, and every time you hear an interview it's he's shy, he only has a few friends like Sadio. I'm like you, True Morgan. I thought at the start of the season he had put a couple of decent shifts in. Then that injury seems to have set him back a bit, and now he seems to be struggling, the right word, I don't know. Also last night he was put into that midfield with Curtis Jones and James Milner. It's tough as well. It's tough to shine in there when you're struggling yourself and you're put in with a youngster and a really good solid pro in James Milner, who had possibly his worst performance in a Liverpool shirt. Why are some losing their heads over Naby? He's 22, 23 years of age. What on earth are people expecting? Needs time to settle. The Premier League is not the same as other leagues. People are unrealistic. Tippy said, to be honest, people were hyping Keita up, which gave him more pressure. However, Fabinho went under the radar a bit and has adapted quicker. And that's a fair point, Tippy. I was one of those people as well that was hyping him up because we knew about him for that long. It's a good point you make, mate. And often people's perceptions can alter how we see, or how people's perceptions can alter what actually we're expecting from him. So yeah, look, again, I agree. I'm so glad, by the way, that you're all being so realistic about this, because some of the comments across social media have been shocking. And a lot of people, like almost everybody on here, though, has been pretty common sense about it and understand what's going on. Keita needs time. Give him the middle of next season, he'll be good. He might just be thinking, what if I get fouled or a bad tackle? He might be having a little bit of self-doubt. He just needs a little bit more time. Somebody new in. Have you got somebody new in? Have I forgot to say hello to somebody new? I like to try and say hello to somebody new if they come in. Oh, Jer, how are you? All the way from Australia, Jer. Pleasure to have you with us, mate. Welcome to the chat. Guys, as you can see, we're edging towards 7,200 subs. I think this is the longest I've gone into a stream without mentioning it. But if you are watching and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please do so. And help us reach the next little target on our road to 10,000, which is 7,200. So look, if you're watching, please hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the stream. He's so shy, he needs time to settle, said Lewis. Ox might start in late February at a stretch, but March I think he's 100%, said Ferno. Second leg is the 13th of March. Oxlade-Chamberlain should be back by then. Again, though, I wouldn't be putting too much hope or expectations on him. Not one of you, by the way, not one of you have noticed that we've a different image for today's stream. We've changed up our studio image. I was waiting to see who was going to notice it and who was going to comment on it. We've changed it. We've a completely new studio for the streams going forward because, again, we just wanted to shake it up a little bit. Origi worked hard last night and took his goal well. He's been pretty prolific this season, said Junior. He's just not good enough for me, buddy. Hopefully that will help get him a move somewhere and maybe get us a few bob, but I just don't see him working out. If we all click for Naby Keita, sometimes in football you can try as much as you want, but things won't pull off as you want them to, said Ferno. But don't you think we must be doing something right if everyone hates Liverpool? Yeah, that's a good point. And they do. It seems like everyone outside of our own fan base absolutely fucking despises us at this point. Ferno's pretending that he saw the background image. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Screw the skeptics. I'm going to be optimistic until mathematically impossible, said Gokul. Love it, mate. I'm on those lines as well. I think he just needs a little run of games, pick up some momentum and form, said Luke Nelms. I said at the beginning of the stream that I like the background, said O-Dog. That's entirely possible, buddy. I could have missed that comment, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Studio looks like the Starship Enterprise, said Maverick. We're playing around with one until we find one that we really, really like. It's much tougher than you think to find an image the right size, and we don't mind paying for them. Absolutely, we don't mind licensing them. We don't mind doing everything the correct way, but it's much harder than you think to find one that suits. I have Connor's head melted with this shit. I'm forever saying to him, what about this one? What about this one? Does this one work? What about this one? Is that the right size? Is this big enough? Is it HD enough? And he's like, fuck off, you bald twat. Just leave me to it. I'll get one eventually. We played Chelsea at home a week before my birthday and I'm going to the game, said Junior. Class, pal. Absolutely class. Enjoy. Gonna be a big game, mate, so enjoy. Is there more transfer news? Yes, buddy, there's lots of transfer stuff to come actually, and we'll get to it in a couple of minutes. I just want to get through some more comments. I promise you it's the next topic we'll cover. Far too stoned to notice shit like that, said Brian Morrissey. And here's I, mate, all the way in Wexford, sitting here with nothing, and you're down there looking after yourself in Waterford. I mean, levels, mate. Origi is fucking terrible. I hate him, winds me up, he frustrates me too much. PS United fans drink their own piss, said David Dello. I mean, there you go, straight to the fucking point. Good man, Dave. I like the foreground, said Rod Menta. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Craig, that backdrop is fucking lethal, said Evan Power. As I said, yeah, we're just messing about till we find one that works for us. I wish I could just hire someone to come in and fucking make one actually perfectly for us. So if there's anyone out there, by the way, that does this type of shit or is capable of making this type of stuff, please do get in touch, because yeah, we're happy to pay for it. Like, it's no problem. It's just really difficult to find one. Oh, by the way, when I say pay for it, I mean relax on the fucking buttons. We're not millionaires, but you know, realistically. You need to see the video of Mo and Sadio dancing on the stage of the awards, said True Morgan. I will have a look for that later on, buddy, and I'm sure it'll pop up on social media. Just throw up a bit of plywood, it'll do us, said Luke Dolan. Mate, I don't know if you were around for the olden days, Luke, but I used to have a fake wall covering that I threw on the wall behind me, and it looked like red brick. It looked like a chimney breast or something, and we made do with that for God so long. Then we added a few images to it, so we stuck a few pictures up on it, and this was actually physically behind me, and that got us through a good while. But yeah, we're just growing and growing, and as we grow, we're trying to make things look a little bit more professional or a little bit more neat along the way. But yeah, sometimes I look back and I miss those days where we had the brick wall, and Connor thinks that I should use that as an OBS image in the background, that we should just get an image of the brick wall and put that up to have the olden days with the, who remembers the alarm clock going off at midnight every night and me not being able to find, it was my wife's watch, and it was a set for an alarm every night at midnight, and I could never find the fucking thing in the room. I hate all the shite about the Chelsea game being the same date as Gerrard's slip that it was 5 years ago. Fuck it, I mean, it's not relevant at all, mate. I'm with you. When will you make some merch for your channel? I think we have some. I think we're not big enough, mate, to start selling merch really. We do have some on our Redbubble channel, our Redbubble account, sorry. If Connor's watching, he'll probably be able to put in a link. Just put in Anfield Agenda on Redbubble. There's a few bits and pieces on there, but we're working on some new stuff. Some stuff that isn't just like, here's a logo, buy it. We're working on some phrases and a few other bits and pieces that we think might be a bit of fun to stick on some merch. Hey fella Reds, nice background. Craig said AS Empire, thank you very much. I'd like to take the credit for it, but Connor found it, so I'll have to give it all to him again. The only spoiled new background is the Kojak lookalike. He's a handsome bastard, Stephen, how dare you. The tan on him is immense as well. Sign Werner, sells thirds in Origi, we've Brewster coming in as well. I don't think Craig is really in a stadium. I think he's in his garden shed with a green screen. Not quite in the shed, Rod, in the bedroom. Defo on a green screen. It's sitting on top of a radiator behind me on the wall. That much I can let loose. You look like a Jedi Master in that hoodie. I'm telling you what, I don't know what, I've messed around with every setting on the cameras. I've fucked around with the ring light, I've put on warm filters, I've changed the gamma and the tone of my, everything to try and make myself not look like a fucking ghost, and I just can't do it. And I'm not really a pale person, which is hilarious. I was away in October in the sun, for fuck's sake. I have a bit of a colour, but whatever, I always just look like Uncle Fester when I'm on here. Sabrina, please hide another alarm clock, said Crosby Red. No, she got herself one of those, what are they, the Samsung Galaxy watches when we were on holidays, so she's all fucking smart now and she's all happy with herself, Crosby Red. So no more of the old fashioned watches. Just another brick in the wall, said Stephen Richards. Right, you know what, no more foreplay, let's talk some transfers, because I'm sure that's what people want to talk about. If you're like me, you're a transfer hound. So look, let me just get up some transfer information and we will go from there. We've already discussed the whole Mats Hummels thing. I think it's nonsense, but again, I'd like to know what you guys think. Craig, what does 7,191 subs mean? Views? No, way more than views. Subs means people that have subscribed to the channel, Dirty Girl. So anyone that's subscribed to the channel basically means they've hit a button to get notified when all our content comes out. Just like you subscribing to a podcast or anything else. Views, we're over 1 million views at this point. We've had something like 6.5 million minutes of watch time. The numbers are going crazy, but definitely not views. I mean, what you're talking about there, we probably get every day. Yesterday, for an example, as a match day, I think we had close to 17,000 views, something like that. Would you start Naby against Brighton? I will get to that through Morgan. I have my starting 11 to go. I just want to talk about transfers, because I promised I would do that next. Sweatshirts, hats, hoodies, some novelty items. Sweatshirts or hoodies, yes. Hats, no. T-shirts, probably. Mugs, possibly. All the other stuff people just don't buy, John, if I'm being realistic or being honest with you. I think hoodies, T-shirts and mugs are probably the only things that people really buy. Everything else you might sell one in a blue moon. Right, here we go. Transfer news. Dun, dun, dun. Is there anything from our special source? Oh, I don't know actually. I must have a word with Connor and see if Manuel Labor has anything for us. Anything special. I know we did put a little bit out there recently. Right, so transfers. As I said, we spoke about Mats Hummels. Not really going to happen. Now, the big news, and one that I think will probably excite a lot of Liverpool fans, is that we've been linked with a move for James Rodriguez. Now, James Rodriguez obviously is on a 2-year loan at Bayern Munich from Real Madrid, and it seems as though they're not going to make that loan permanent. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, this is just going on reports in the media today. Would James Rodriguez be a good replacement for Daniel Sturridge? Because that's what it's been billed as, what I've read today. That he's been looked at as a long-term replacement for Daniel Sturridge. He'd fucking do me, put it that way. I'm not saying he is the ideal player, but if we're just bringing him in to replace Daniel Sturridge, yeah, I would happily have me a bit of James Rodriguez. Having been somebody who's only seen glimpses of him, I've probably seen more from playing for Colombia than I have in club football, if I'm being honest. For Colombia, he's been excellent. In the club football games I've seen him in, he's somebody that drifts in and out. When he's on fire, my God, he's on fire, but he can be fairly quiet for long periods of time. But again, I have to be clear and say I've only seen him for a very limited amount. There are people out there who watch Bayern Munich every week, who watch Real Madrid, who will be able to tell you a lot more about James Rodriguez than me. Interestingly, I haven't seen anything that said what the figure might be to bring him in, which always sends alarm bells ringing in my head. And we're not the only team looking at James Rodriguez. Arsenal are looking at him. Manchester United apparently are looking at him. And no doubt other clubs in Europe will be looking at him. But you do have to ask yourself, why are Bayern Munich not going to make the deal permanent if that's the case? He seems to be a pretty damn fine player. Sometimes players just don't fit into clubs. I mean, Isco's going through a bit of a time at the minute at Real Madrid, and we'd all take him. We'd snap your hand off for Isco, actually. So guys, what do you think on James Rodriguez? Bullshit? Real? You'd like him? You wouldn't like him? I suppose we can talk about the whole Danny Sturridge aspect of it as well. A lot of people thought that Daniel Sturridge was going to be given a new deal by Liverpool over the coming weeks. Now, I've always felt that that would be very naive of Liverpool to do whilst Daniel Sturridge has the whole betting charge hanging over his head. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Unless the club know categorically that that charge is bullshit and that they can swat it away. Other than that, it doesn't really make sense for me for Liverpool to commit themselves to that at this moment in time. Because what if you picked up an 18-month ban? Then they're stuck paying a player for 18 months. It just doesn't make sense. He's another Coutinho, said Michael Wicks. We'll get to Timo Werner. Sorry, I'm choking the neck on myself here with this hoodie. I don't think do anything in January. However, I think we need cover by August, said Anthony Peters. Munich can't afford him, and everything else they need to rebuild. That is a fair point. Munich do have an ageing squad, don't they? And they really do need to bring in some fresh blood, which is why they're looking at Callum Hudson-Odoi at Chelsea. They offered, I think, 35 million for him again. They're looking to bring in Timo Werner themselves, who, of course, we will talk about Timo Werner in a few minutes from a Liverpool point of view. Buy everyone, said Rod. Love it, mate. Straightforward, full on Premier League manager. Just buy everyone, buy them all. Some people think that that's actually the way it should be done, Rod. Some people think we just have a blank checkbook that we can just go out and buy everybody. What do we do? It's stuff put out there just because Kovac doesn't play him much, said Cahill. Don't you and James have the same sleeve, Craig? I doubt it. I doubt it, but stranger things have happened. I don't rate him. Timo Werner all the way, said David Davies. I reckon James would suit the Premier League, but he goes missing too much for me. His quality, no doubt about it. His left foot can change a game. Brian Morris, he says, Ori James Rodriguez. Real paid 80 million and were prepared to loan him out. Bayern want rid. Ask yourself why. And that's a fair point, Brian. As you said, they paid top whack for him when they brought him in. After a good World Cup, I thought you have to be careful buying players that have good World Cups. But you're right. You have to ask yourself why. Why did he not work out at Real? Why did he not work out at Bayern Munich? Or are Bayern Munich actually going to take him? Let's just wait and see. I'm trying to remember where this was from. It's a couple of media sources. I don't think it was Bild in this one. Was it Don Ballon actually? It could have been Don Ballon. Just think James Rodriguez fits the Liverpool mould. Sadly, so not worth the high cost. Just don't think. Excuse me, Maverick. Maverick said, I just don't think James Rodriguez fit the Liverpool mould, so not worth the high cost. Kieran TVHD said, alright mate, how are you doing? I'm very good, thank you pal, how are you? Again, welcome into the chat mate. If you want to talk United buddy, please put something in the chat. We're happy to do it. Just no trolling pal, if that's alright, but I'm sure you're not going to. Love to hear your thoughts on the Spurs game, see how you're feeling about that one. Maybe Sturridge can be an accountant at Manchester City, said Rod. Does he have the qualifications, Rod? Can he make shit up? If he can, then could be good for the job. He's a good player, but there's always a reason why a player is a journeyman, said Thomas Boland. How long will Coutinho live for if he goes to United? I honestly haven't seen a single fucking link linking him to Manchester United. I must be the only person on the planet who hasn't yet seen a headline or a link of Coutinho. Maybe it's because I have the word Coutinho muted on social media, so I never see any posts about him. And I don't Google Manchester United or Coutinho when I'm looking for stuff. So maybe that's why. Dirty Girl said, ask yourself why Real Madrid and Bayern don't want him. He's overrated. Hudson-Odoi is so good, said Furno. I think we could slap City or Bayern silly in the Champions League. Klopp will be hugely up for it after the 2013 final, said Owen Farrelly. I think it's going to be a very good set of games on, and I think we'll tear them to shreds. If we can click for even 15 or 20 minutes in one of those two legs, I think we can tear Bayern Munich a new asshole altogether. Just read that Arsenal cannot afford James, so it must be a high price, said Luke. And look, there's no doubt about it. Money, I won't say it's tight at Arsenal, but when you're buying Torreira and you're not paying his release clause, so you can buy him in 2 installments and you're actually paying more than his release clause, it kind of goes to show you that Kroenke might be a little bit tight with the funds at this moment in time. And of course, I could be completely wrong on that. I know I'm right on the Torreira thing, but Arsenal fans seem to be a little bit frustrated with the lack of money being spent by Stan Kroenke, and thankfully we're in a bit of a different place. Adoy is not as good as Sancho for me, said G.I. Jose. I mean, it's impossible to say he is. Absolutely impossible. He's played nowhere near enough games to compare him to Jadon Sancho. Potential, look, the potential's there, and Bayern Munich aren't going to start throwing down 35 million quid for a player that they don't rate very highly. In 2014, Rodriguez set the world on fire, but there must be something up why Bayern Munich don't want him. I know he's class, but injuries and lack of game time, he's not the same player. Very fair comment, Carrie. The rumour we're going to offer Sturridge a new contract was next level funny, said Brian. It just made no sense to me, Brian. And some of these were coming from half respected journalists, like journalists that are actually paid by newspapers to write stories. We're coming up with this stuff. It's crazy. Buy Fekir, buy Werner and Toby Alderweireld in January, and buy a second goalkeeper in the summer. I'm not somebody that wants us to buy another keeper. I'm probably in the minority on this, I understand it, but I just want us to give Caoimhín Kelleher a chance, at least in pre-season, because what's the point? I know I've said this over and over and over again, but what's the point in having young keepers coming through if we never give them an opportunity? Test Raul Jimenez parent club with an offer for the Wolves loanee striker, said Tom Boland. And on that one, actually, have you seen Tammy Abraham? I know this isn't Liverpool related, but Tammy Abraham has turned down a potential loan move to Wolves because he wants to stay at Aston Villa and try to get them promoted. Now, it was only going to be a loan move because Chelsea aren't willing to sell it is Tammy Abraham in this window. So it would have just been a loan move to Wolves. I don't know if there would have been an option on there at the end of it, but he wants to stay with Aston Villa, which fair play to the guy. Fair play to him. He obviously likes where he is. And it wouldn't have been too far of a move for him, would it, from Aston Villa to Wolves? So let's just wait and see what happens there. If you had to get a backup left back and centre back, who would you want? Left back is one that's I've always struggled, David, to come up with somebody as a backup, because who's going to want to come and sit on a bench for a lot of the time? I like the idea of that kid from Bristol City, but I'm lying if I say I've seen a lot of them, because I absolutely haven't. What is it? Lloyd Kelly, I think his name was. He's rated very highly by scouts who've looked at him and by people who've seen a lot more of him than me. Other than that, mate, I don't know. When it comes to centre back, I wouldn't bring anybody in yet. Not until we sell Matip or Lovren. And after that, it's tough. People will say maybe Jonathan Tah. People will say that young guy from Atletico Madrid, is it Jimenez? Is that his name? I like the idea of bringing through kids in this position. It's worked out for us with Joe Gomez, although I know he's had a long time to get used to the club. If we don't go and spend a lot of money, I would rather we didn't spend any. I mean, if you're going to bring in somebody for that position, I think we need to go out and do another 50 or 60 million quid. But I don't see us doing that. Other than that, I mean, we're just going to be dicking about again with, are they good enough? If you're going to spend the money, I think Liverpool are at the point now where if we're bringing somebody into battle for a first team spot, then put the fucking money down on the table and go and get quality, like we've done with Van Dijk, like we've done with Fabinho, like we've done with Naby Keita, like we've done with Mo Salah. Just pay the fucking money and get in who you want. I think we only need to be topping up with one or two quality players every summer now. Maybe one more squad player on top of that. That's my opinion on it. I think we're a wide forward, a number 10, a centre back, and probably a full back cover away from being a ridiculously strong squad. Give Madrid Moreno for Rodriguez. They probably wouldn't want them. I'd take Sessegnon from Fulham. He's class, but again, just reiterate, he's not a left back. I know he's played left back for Fulham, but he's a midfielder. But look, him in the 10, maybe. Him as a wide forward, most certainly. The guy has a big future, and any club that gets Ryan Sessegnon is getting one hell of a footballer. Imagine Arsenal fan TV and Moreno. Fuck me, they would lose their minds. They would lose their minds. And for once we could look at them and go, oh, well, do you know what? I get you there. You're right. Bellotti is a very good number 9. He's suited to the Premier League and would bang them in for the Reds. I'm surprised nobody's gone for him yet. He really impressed me when we played Torino in pre-season. And again, was it Arsenal or Chelsea were linked with him last year? Yeah, very good player, super quality, mate. And I would have no qualms about him coming in at all. Very impressed when I've seen him. I swear I'd actually be so pissed if Coutinho ends up at United. I bet it's just fake news, said Louis. Another racist Chelsea fan arrested at the match tonight. Fuck me. Is that true? I haven't seen those myself yet, but that's fucking disgusting. What I have seen though are reports that London Transport Police, an incident was reported to them on the 22nd of December. Some Chelsea fans have been accused of an alleged sexual assault and some racial abuse on a train or a tube on the 22nd of December. Look, it's not fair all the time to just keep pointing the finger at Chelsea, although they have been in the news quite a lot recently for this stuff. But whether it's Chelsea fans, Spurs fans, United, whoever the fuck it is, there's no place for this in the game. There's no place, well, obviously, there's no place in the world for sexual assault. I mean, that's scumbag behaviour of the highest order. And if proven, you need to fucking throw the book at somebody for that. But with regards to the homophobia, the racism, the anti-Semitic chants, that stuff has no place in sport or society. And I keep saying, if you're in a fan base, you need to weed these fuckers out of your own fan base. If you're going to games and hearing this shit, call them out on it. Tell the officials, tell the fucking stewards, tell the police. I don't care. Be called a fucking dobber, a rat, whatever you want. You're not talking about somebody here who's nicked a fucking pie or got a can in the shop or didn't pay for his pint. You're talking about somebody who is the lowest of the low and doesn't deserve to be protected. Somebody who's calling somebody the N-word. Somebody who's chatting about somebody's religion. Somebody who's talking about someone's sexual orientation. All of this stuff is absolutely unacceptable. We've spoken about it a few times on here. Look, Chelsea keep coming up in the news. And Chelsea seem to have probably more fans that are vocal and stuff like this. I'm trying to be real because I know I can go off on rants and I know I can go off on one, and I've talked about Chelsea fans before and Manchester City fans and Spurs fans, and I'm trying to be a little bit calm on this one. I treat it with the respect it deserves. There's just no fucking place for it, guys. The long and short of it is that. Right, where's a United friend? He said Coutinho to United, probably not. Would you take him though, Kieran? I mean, if it was a true deal, would you take him? Because he would kind of be like you signing Juan Mata on steroids. It's probably a good way of describing that signing. I'm not convinced by Italian strikers, said Pepper Red. No need for racism. It's disgusting, said Kieran. It's fucking the lowest of the low, mate. It's absolutely sickening. Why judging somebody for the financial situation, the race, their sexual orientation, their religion? I mean, it's just stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid. People are people. I mean, get to know somebody. Just judging somebody because of something, one part of their makeup, is fucking ridiculous. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to read through some more comments. Do you think Mo will go to La Liga? No. Although look, and I can never say never, but I just don't think we'll be losing them anytime soon. Yeah, I would say minimum 18 months before that even becomes a consideration. Sorry for going off topic, but I've just found this. Maurizio Sarri brings out Chelsea analysis footage of the game on a laptop to prove Harry Kane was offside. The salt is real tonight in London. Tough one on that, isn't it? That VAR review of that goal. Some people think Harry Kane brought his ankles together and looked for the contact. Whether he's offside or not, look, that's another debate. But we're just on the contact, and I know you have gone off topic, but I want to do you the courtesy of answering you, Cahill. I think there was contact by Kepa before he brings his feet together. I think there was already a little bit of contact from Kane's right foot on Kepa's rib cage before his feet come together, and I think it was a stonewall penalty, if I'm being honest. Was he clever about it? Yes, but there was contact from the keeper. The offside thing, look, that's a whole another argument. I said to you the other day, this being offside, not offside, Lark, is very difficult to judge because it all depends on that split second when you deem the ball to be released from the pass from the player that's playing the ball through, and 1 millisecond of a difference can show somebody to be on or offside. So it's very difficult to precisely pinpoint the time the ball leaves a player's foot that's trying to pass the ball through. It's really, really hard. I'd have Aspas back in the morning, said Sean W. We need a prison for Chelsea fans at this rate, said G.I. Jose. Coutinho won't go to United, said David Dallow. Where else have we got? United need a right winger and a defender. I'd like Lozano and Koulibaly, said Kieran. You've been strongly linked to Koulibaly for a while, mate. I mean, I think you looked at him last summer as well, and you didn't like the figures that were bandied around. I think it was 80 million or something like that. Look, you need a defender, that much is true, and if you got Koulibaly, it would worry me a tad. Dirty Girl said, we need these now. Fekir, Milinkovic, Savic and somebody else. We need money to seal the Premier League trophy, says, is it Rizwanda? Excuse me if I mispronounced your name. Love coming on here every night, said Paul Murphy. Mate, love having you. Love having everybody on here in the chat. Thank you so much. We're 7 subscribers away, guys, from 7,200. So look, if you're watching, you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that button. Every little 50. I celebrate every 50 in my head. I do a little dance in my head every time we hit 50 subscribers. So look, if you're watching, do us a favour and please hit that subscribe button. What else have we got? I heard Koulibaly was keen to join, but it could be false. I think all players, mate, would love to come and play in the Premier League at some point, and Koulibaly has done very well at Napoli, but he's getting to that point of his career now. He's coming into the peak years of his career that maybe he's looking at a club like United, somebody else perhaps, and I'm thinking, yeah, I would fancy me a bit of that if the money's right between the clubs. Definitely a penalty, just exaggerated the fall. Yeah, it was a bit funny, Brian, to be fair. Coutinho wouldn't get back in our first 11 anyway, said Donkey Hoary. You can really thank VVD for Koulibaly's price, said G.I. Jose. Yeah, but look, I don't care. I fucking don't care. Every penny we played for Virgil van Dijk was worth it. Markovic should be given a chance to show his class. You're right, Stephen. I mean, Tranmere should probably give him that chance. Why spend 100 million for Phil Coutinho back? No way, said Sean W. Klopp should phone Coutinho on the quiet and use his charm. For all of these people that think Kloppo loves Coutinho for some reason, just to be clear, Melissa Reddy's article, if you read it, and I keep going on about this article, but it said, and I know Kloppo probably isn't someone to hold a grudge, but the last straw in the whole Coutinho saga seemed to be Coutinho trying to get senior players to have a word with the manager to smooth the pathway through for that transfer to happen, and it seems that really didn't impress Jurgen Klopp. Craig, keep an eye on Dele Alli in the summer. If we win the league, I've been told a well-known football agent will go all out and get Dele Alli. Okay, I was fuming when we missed out on him at the time, mate. I'm not going to lie about it. Fucking stupidity from us. That deal was done and dusted, and we moved the goalposts. Absolutely ridiculous. If we don't sign anybody, my feet will fall apart. My world will fall apart, said Rod. Maybe your feet will as well, mate. I'm making up words here. I'm just throwing in words into people's sentences. Real Madrid and Chelsea are in talks with Koulibaly, said Joel Robinson. Liverpool could swipe Koulibaly, said Pepper Red. Mate, I wouldn't hold my breath. Honestly, I wouldn't hold my breath. I'd much rather we spent that money, if we're talking ridiculous money, and I said already that I think he's joining Barca, but if you're going to be talking 75-80 million, then spend it on the lip, because you're going to get longer out of him. I'd get Mbappe and Neymar to give me an autograph on paper, and then turn out it's a contract to Gary Bonner. Coutinho wouldn't get in our team. Coutinho would get in our team. We're still trying to fill that hole. Did Spurs sell someone today? No, not that I'm aware of. I could have missed that, but not that I'm aware of. Christian Eriksen is going to cause Spurs a major headache if they don't tie him down to a new deal, because his contract is running down. They're not going to want to give him away, so if he doesn't sign on soon, they're probably going to have to cash in, and it's been rumoured that Barcelona are monitoring that situation. Dele Alli is a good player, but I don't think he'll be coming to Liverpool, so John Hamilton. They're not Chelsea scum, those people are just scum. It's not really fair to tar a whole fan base with that label. I absolutely did not tar a whole fan base, Donkey Horry, man. I went out of my way to say that it wasn't just all Chelsea fans. I went out of my way to try and say that I can't do what you're saying. So I don't know what more I can do, pal. The fact is, they were in club colours. They were Chelsea fans. Nobody, well, maybe people in the chat have, but I certainly haven't said that every single Chelsea fan is a racist or a homophobic person or an anti-Semitist or anything like that. So I'm trying to be as fair as I can here. Craig was pissed off at first getting knocked out of the FA Cup, but now I think it could be a good thing. There's definitely pluses to it, Paul. There's definitely pluses to it, but look, we'd all be liars if you said to me, Craig, do you want to see Jordan Henderson lift in the FA Cup in May? I'm saying yes, of course I do. But at the same time, can I see the benefits to not being in the FA Cup? Yeah, of course I can. I mean, it gives Klopp the time with the players. Markovic has no stamina. Craig's got feet on the mind, said G.I. Jose. I have a geography B tomorrow, so can everyone please wish me luck? Good luck, Rocco. I hope it goes well for you. They sold Mbele. Yes, you're right, they did, to that Chinese crowd. Sorry. Yes, spot on again, thank you. Yeah, 9 million to I can't even pronounce any of the team's names in China. You're right. Delete and VVD will be perfect. Liverpool needs bench rotation, said Yuri. I don't know. I don't think our squad is quite as shallow as people might make out. Lallana is coming back from fitness. Oxlade-Chamberlain out. Brewster out. Gomez out. Henderson had a knock for the last game, wasn't available. Lovren now out. Matip out. Who else have we got? Masterson, I think, had a knock when he was coming back. That's 7 I can think of off the top of my head who are out and about, and that's what we still have as well on the bench. I don't think our squad is that weak. Definitely agree we need full-back cover, which is why I'm baffled, absolutely baffled, as to why we let Nathaniel Klein go out on loan. That has completely stumped me. I can't figure that one out. I understand the player wanting to go and have game time, but it's a position that we seem to be lacking a little bit of cover in at the minute. BRZ Wires Bursey said, if you could make one realistic signing in January, who would it be? Timo Werner, without a shadow of a doubt, and we will go on to talk about him now because it's the one transfer topic I haven't mentioned yet today. What are your thoughts on Hummels potentially coming on loan to Liverpool? I spoke about it earlier on, buddy. You probably missed it. I'm always somebody who wants to give a kid a chance over a loan signing on a temporary basis, purely because I don't see the point in giving minutes to somebody who's not going to be beneficial to the club in the long term. I can understand the arguments behind it. He's proven quality. I just think, how bad could somebody like Masterson or Nat Phillips be? I mean, what's the worst case scenario here? They make a mistake. Obviously, they're a good level footballer. We've seen Nat Phillips as an example in the summer, in pre-season. Every time I watched that young man, he was fantastic. So I'd have no problem dropping him in there. Keanu Hoover I'd have a little bit of worry about because of his physical size going up against Brighton. Phillips, I wouldn't worry about his physical size because he's a fucking monster. I just think Hoover might be bullied a little bit, even alongside Virgil van Dijk, in that particular game. At home, you know what, I'd play him. But away against Brighton in the Amex, probably not so for that game. Right, to get back to talk about Timo Werner. So Bild in Germany are reporting that the Reds are still incredibly interested in bringing in Timo Werner in the summer. Now I have to say in the summer. It looks like Leipzig are not going to sell during this window. Well, they may sell, but you know what I'm trying to say. He's not leaving the club during this window. Apparently though, it's not just Liverpool that are interested. We've spoken before about Bayern Munich and their interest in him. It seems Spurs have an interest in him as well, and Borussia Dortmund. So again, I reiterate what I said the other day. If you're Leipzig, why would you sell to Dortmund or why would you sell to Bayern Munich? It doesn't make as much sense as selling outside to a Premier League club. You probably get a few more quid from a Premier League club, and of course the player then moves outside your league and he's not going to come back to haunt you. Now Spurs and Liverpool, if they're to go head to head for the player, you'd have to say Liverpool would have deeper pockets. I'm not sure what Spurs' wage structure is. I'm not even going to pretend to know. But I would say at this moment in time, Liverpool probably have deeper pockets than Spurs. Unless, of course, Spurs move on in Eriksen, a Harry Kane, a Dele Alli, somebody of that ilk. But I think I'd be very fucking surprised if we're not in the conversation for Timo Werner. It just makes sense on far too many levels. Particularly, we did nothing for Pulisic. We absolutely just let that one go. We didn't even try for that. So, for me, Timo Werner, I'm going to be very disappointed if we're not trying to get that one done. It just makes too much sense. Play in any of the three front positions. He could probably be even coached to play in the position Firmino was playing in now. It just makes so much sense. A lot of people there mentioning Icardi as well. Look, Mauro Icardi is class. I'm not going to say otherwise. He's absolute class. And he's a bit of a cunt as well. And I love me a bit of a nasty bastard. So, yeah, look, I love Mauro Icardi, but I don't know. Can't see that happening. There's a bit of money at Inter Milan at the minute. They're trying to build something there. Real Madrid were interested in him. Let's just wait and see. Again, I don't know. It would take big money to get him out of there. City are loaning out backup fullbacks. It was a very stupid decision from Kloppo. Or City aren't loaning out backup fullbacks. Yeah, I've got to say, look, there's been very few things I've ever second guessed Kloppo on, but this one has me stumped. I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. Stephen Cocker up front, give him a shout. It was just madness, wasn't it? It may get argued that Hummels has experience, said Rod, which he does. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about that. He does have experience, and I can understand. I mean, if we're talking about a 6-month period here where we actually need somebody for 6 months, I would say maybe Matt Hummels, there's some sense to that. But if we're looking at a situation where we've got 3 centre backs in place, you've got Matip, you've got Gomez, you've got Van Dijk, and they're all going to be back to fitness, and I don't know what's going on with Dejan Lovren at the minute, then is there really a need? I don't know if there's that much of a need to bring in a centre back now. We do need to move players on and bring one in the summer, but I wouldn't be somebody that's gone mad to bring somebody in at this moment in time, personally. 84 likes and 180 watching, so you guys know what to do, said G.I. Jose. And look, we're only 3 subscribers away, guys, from hitting 7,200, so if there's 3 amazing people out there that haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please do. And we still have 35 minutes to go on tonight's stream, so lots more we can get through. Kieran, mate, take it easy. Pleasure to have you in, buddy. If Liverpool bring in a top centre back like Koulibaly, what would it mean for Gomez? I'm never that worried when you've got 3 centre backs. 3 top level centre backs I think you can cope with, because yeah, you want to build a partnership, but you also want to rotate. And I think our system, I think we'd be brilliant with 3 at the back as well and 2 wing backs. So I'm not saying that that's what he'd play, but I'm saying if you did bring in somebody of that ilk, I wouldn't be that bothered, because you can rotate 3 full-backs around 2 and give players a rest. It probably should have them as well, to be fair. You should be looking to have 3 top-class centre-backs and a couple of backup ones. Hummels means bumblebees when translated, said Rod, who is of course German, so bumblebees, indeed. Bring back King Clavan, said Alpha G. It'll also weaken Bayern's defence of the UEFA Champions League, or for the Champions League tie in a few months, which and look, they're chasing the fucking Bundesliga as well. They're trying to rein in Borussia Dortmund, so it'd be strange for them to weaken themselves. 5 games in 6 weeks with 2 free weekends to allow for training camps. City have 8 or 9 games, if no replay, and no weekends off. So that's the joy of going out of the FA Cup, said Facility Time. It will give Klopp much needed time. Over this period, it's basically just been playing, recovery, watch videos, a little bit on the training ground. Now there's absolutely no excuses. He has the players, he has the time, he'll get them away to Spain in January for a point, maybe 5 days a week. Yeah, I agree, we have no excuses at this moment. No excuses why we can't make a serious push for this title. Keanu Hoover is just VVD with short hair. Right, guys, a bit before the day finishes, actually, I have to give a shout out to LiverpoolHistory.net, who put out a tweet today to say that today, 22 years ago, Jamie Carragher made his debut for Liverpool. So, look, we know how that career went. Jamie Carragher, one of my favourite players that ever put on a red shirt. So, 22 years ago today, Jamie Carragher made his debut for Liverpool. And if you're not following LFCHistory.net on Twitter, oh, you really should. They're a fantastic account. And of course the website as well, really, really good. If you want any stat on Liverpool or anything, LFCHistory.net, you won't do any better. I've got no affiliation with the guys whatsoever. In fact, I don't even know the people that run it. But I just love the site. It's a fantastic site. Great guys that run it brilliantly. So yeah, LFCHistory.net, guys, check them out. Would you prefer a backup fullback or a number 10? A number 10. I'm somebody that always wants goals, mate, so a number 10 for me. Again though, Gokul, let me know what you'd rather, mate. Gomez is young, will only get better in the shadow of Virgil van Dijk, said Soldier. Read something that said if Liverpool don't win the league, Klopp should be sacked. Thoughts? No is my initial thought, Connor, or is it Y Connor? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name there, mate. But it'll be fucking disappointing. There's no two ways about that. But every year you've just got to ask yourself, have we progressed? And if we, worst case scenario, didn't win the league by a few points this year, have we progressed from last year? Massively. I'm sure we'll put on a shit ton of more points on the board than last year. But there's no getting away from the fact it'll be very fucking disappointing. And it could be a pivotal point in our development. I really, really feel that in this position now, I think it's critical for us to go on and win the league, pal. It would be an amazing achievement to do it. But to not do it, having been 7 points ahead, that would be fucking difficult as well. But no, definitely not sack him. I'd not be in that camp whatsoever. I remember we played Wijnaldum at centre back for a game last year. Do you think we could see that again? Somebody said today, one of the online publications, that Henderson was actually going to be used yesterday as a centre back before he picked up his knock. So that would have been shocking. Look, Klopp can probably play any midfielder at centre back and get away with it. Well, Keita we probably couldn't, to be fair. Or Shaqiri, or Lallana. You know what I mean. Any midfielder with any type of defensive awareness. Do you rate Depay? No, not that much, Gary. I think he's a bit of a fucking show pony, and I don't like anyone with an attitude, mate. And he has too much of an attitude for my liking. He has the ability. There's no doubt in that. I mean, he can do fucking great stuff on a football pitch, but some people, I just look at them and go, nah, you're all about you. And he's one of those people that I wouldn't want at the club. What a fucking legend. Sound fella as well. Met him a few times. Proper scouser. Funny as fuck. Live around the corner from Carragher. He's a legend, said David Dallow. How could you not love him? I love Jamie Carragher. Absolutely adore the guy. Have his jersey proudly hanging in my sitting room as well. Chamberlain has missed 53 games, said Kev. Wow, that is a lot. But, you know, it's a massive injury he picked up. I asked Jamie Carragher, did he ever get bitten by Suarez? And it was put on YouTube and got 3 million views. Wow. Fucking hell, mate. Nice one. And what was his answer? Did he get bitten? I haven't seen the video. 3 million people have, but I haven't. What about Toby Alderweireld? 25 million buyout clause. Does that come into effect now or in the summer? I'm not sure on that one. Look, he's great. At 25 million, if you got 3 years out of him, there is some sense to that, I think. Kind of goes a little bit against what I was saying about bringing a kid through, but you're going to get 3 or 4 years out of this guy. You're not just going to bring him in for a 6-month loan spell. A German Liverpool fan living in Oz, you couldn't make that up. And you know what? A better man, a nicer man you'll never meet. I absolutely love Rod. He is 1 in a million. We'd be stupid to let Klopp go. Stop letting the media skew your viewpoint. Any rival club killed to have him. Klopp is the best thing that happened to this club in 20 years, said Nhaloko. Mate, I agree with you. He's transformed our club. Attracted players that we probably never have been able to get. Been so clever in his transfers. Given the fans a boost. Brought everybody together. Everything you've written there is absolutely correct. 3 at the back. It's only for a game or two, said Donkey Hoary. We've seen it done before, mate. He's used that system once or twice. Jamie Carragher in the 2005 Champions League final, one of the greatest Liverpool performances. Just the image of him having cramp, Brian, and still throwing himself around in absolute excruciating pain. The man is a warrior, an absolute warrior. Give Klopp the sack at Christmas when he dresses up, Santa Claus, said Rod. I'm sorry, but even Stevie fucking Wonder can see the change. It's not just the team, but the club. Klopp is an unreal manager. It wouldn't be disappointing if we didn't. It would be disappointing if we didn't win, but sack him? Fuck no, said David Dallow. Richard Williams, I'm doing very well, mate. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. What are we now? 2 subscribers away, guys, from 7,200. I'm sure there's 2 people watching that can hit that button. Very interesting point about us winning this year, said Gakul. Thank you, mate. We got the Oxlade-Chamberlain fella and the Brewster fella to come in, said Soldier Boy. I put in the fella because I wasn't going to say the OX, because I don't say that phrase. But I found myself halfway through it, so I had to kind of circle around. But yeah, two great players to come in as well. And I've got really high hopes for Ian Brewster. He just laughed. It's called the Kid-Ass Carragher. Oh, yes. I have seen that. Sorry, I have seen that, mate. Oh, look at us. We've got a YouTube legend with us, mate. Well in. That's something you can always look back on, buddy. So that's amazing. That's really nice for you to have on there. Cool, nice one. Honestly, genuinely, I'm jealous. I think if Suarez beat Carragher, he would have been lying flat out on the deck because Carragher would flatten him. Man United trying to sign Manolas for 32 million. Think Liverpool should try and get there first. Would be a solid pairing. There was another link to one more guy that I'd seen earlier on, and I'd never fucking heard of this guy before, but I wrote a little bit about it. So Liverpool are now favourites to sign Schalke midfielder Weston McKennie in the January transfer window. McKennie is an American international with 7 senior caps, normally plays as a defensive midfielder, and has come through the academy system at Schalke. That's all I know. This has come from a fucking bookie, so they've brought him in a 4-1 or something. I can't even remember what bookie it was. I've heard nothing about this guy. I've seen no reliable links that we're in from. This is the only thing I've seen, but transfer topics for Liverpool at the moment are slim pickings. If we've any Americans, perhaps, that would know a little bit about this guy, Weston McKennie, I don't know what else to say, guys. Look, 7 senior caps for America, plays for Schalke, comes through the Schalke youth system. Just another name for the list, I suppose. We lose a game and the media are talking shite about Klopp leaving, said Soldier. They forever do, mate. They forever talk shite and try to undermine us. Come on, guys, subscribe and I'll do a video of moonwalking into Lidl eating a pork pie, said David Dallow. There you go. I mean, if that doesn't get us 150,000 subscribers, what will? I want to see this fucking video, David, of you moonwalking into Lidl eating a pork pie. And I want to know if the pork pie is hot or cold. And I want to know who made the pork pie and what type of pastry we're talking about here. Manolas is slow as fuck, said Cahill. Lovren and Sturridge could learn from Jamie about playing through the pain barrier. I mean, he's fucking quality. I mean, we could all learn something from Carragher about pain, or playing through that pain barrier. He's a real warrior. I love Jamie Carragher. Yeah, fair enough. That Eder Milito guy you're speaking about, that's the guy I mentioned the other day that has a £42.5 million release clause or something. The Porto defender that's been linked with Liverpool, Real Madrid. I've seen the links, don't know much about him. The 42.5 million, I think, is the release clause that he has built into his contract. And I remember reading the article and they were saying only 42.5 million release clause, but he's been linked to a lot of Europe's top clubs, mate, and I'd be lying if I said I've seen him play, because I haven't. John Hamilton says it isn't funny how many so-called top pros get cramp after 60 or 70 minutes. When we're young, we used to play for 4 to 6 hours a day. It's different intensity levels though, John. The amount of sprints that these guys do, look, you're probably best getting somebody who knows about this to explain it to you. From the very little bit I know about it, you just can't compare us playing as kids for 4 or 6 hours a day to the levels that these guys put their body through to play in 90 minutes. One more that date with Connor's prize for One more that date with Connor is the prize for 7,200. Craig, you should create your own fake transfer rumour, see if the media pick it up. We did that before and it ran. It got on a couple of massive French sites as well. We came up with a rumour that Junior Wijnaldum was off to Lyon last summer and it fucking flew. Luke Nelm said Weston McKennie is amazing. He's very strong on the ball and strong on the tackle. Just a unit. Thank you for that one, pal. I've heard of McKennie. Watched the video about the American Rising Stars and he seems decent. He's crap, said Neil Anthony. So a bit of a contradicting statement to the other two. Seen him play against England, said why Connor. Now I want the pork pie, said True Morgan. There you go. Sorry if I made you hungry. I think we should play 3-4-3 with Milner, Fabinho covering Trent and finishing with Shaqiri on the other side, said Got Cool. From the Pound Bakery, I'm a scruff, but the moonwalk is on point. There you go. I'm not going to lie, mate. Whenever I'm in Liverpool and I'm wandering around trying to kill time before a game, I'm in that fucking £1 bakery myself. How could you not be? Everything's a quid, mate. A fucking quid. A quid for a sandwich. A quid. Fucking hell. You can't go wrong. A quid. How can I say that again? A quid. One fucking quid for a sandwich. A pie. It's ridiculous. The stuff you can get for £1 in England. Sturridge is my cousin, but he still has to go. Sorry, cuz, said Soldier. Another usual game on Saturday against Brighton, a chance to go 7 points clear before City play Wolves. Right, let's talk about that game against Brighton perhaps, and let's talk about our preferred starting 11s or who we'd like to see. I did take the time to try and do one out today, so here's my guess at a starting 11 for that game. Obviously, I'm expecting Alisson to play in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. If Lovren is injured, I would go with Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho as the centre back pairing, with Andy Robertson at left back, of course. Now, every week when I talk about midfield, I seem to say that this is the area that we've a bit of conjecture in, and this is the area that we disagree in. And it's been harder than ever this week for me to pick a 3 in midfield. I've gone for Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, and in the end, after a lot of deliberation, I went with Naby Keita. I wouldn't mind Lallana. I spoke about that a bit earlier on in the stream, but I just think play Naby Keita, play him alongside better midfielders, see how he gets on for 65 or 70 minutes, and then bring on Sheridan Shaqiri for the last 25 minutes to try and do what he does best, which is cause fucking havoc. And then the front three, look, I don't even need to explain that to you. The front three never change for me unless there's an injury or somebody needs to be rested. So yeah, that's for me. That's the team I'd go with. So just to reiterate, Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Robertson, Henderson, Gini, Naby, Mane, Salah, Firmino. Yeah, that's my 11. Full force versus Brighton to make a statement, said Pro Track. VVD has a knock, said Luke. Haven't seen that anywhere, personally, mate. Haven't seen anything about VVD having a knock today. But look, I could have missed it, or you could be just winding me up. Craig, when can we submit videos of ourselves watching the games where we live? LFC Supporters Club has picked up another member. I don't know about this, Rod. It's something we need to actually start thinking about. I don't know. It's a tough one, Rod. I want to get as much of this as I can from people, but if you ask for it and it doesn't come in, then it's a pain in the arse trying to get it. But if people want to send in stuff, it's definitely something we can do. We can edit it and put it out there. Me and Connor want to start meeting up with as many supporters clubs as we can as well, so it's something we want to start doing soon. So if you are part of a supporters club in the UK, Ireland, and you want me and Connor to come and film a match day watch along right there with your supporters club, you want us to do reaction videos and film the whole day and vlog it for the channel, let us know. We're happy to come over and do that. We've had a few offers so far. Yeah, we're just trying to make sure they're concrete before we go ahead. But look, if you are a member or you run a supporters club, even if it's outside of the UK and Ireland, if it's in Europe somewhere, let us know. We're happy to come over and film it for the day and show the world how Liverpool fan clubs or Liverpool supporters clubs celebrate and how much it means to them. They may not be able to go to every game, you may not be even in the same country, but what we're trying to do is show the world and other Liverpool fans how much this means to every single fucking red around the world. Whether you're in America, Australia, anywhere, it doesn't matter. Singapore, it really doesn't matter. The sacrifice that people go through to be able to watch Liverpool. We want to show the world that and show them why we've got the best supporters in the world, which is why we want to do this new thing in 2019 where maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks, myself and Connor jump on a fucking plane, jump in the car, whatever it is, and we head to your supporters club, we film it. And look, it doesn't even have to be a supporters club. It could be just you and a group of 10 or 12 mates that watch the games together. Let us know, we'll film it and we'll show the world why we're the best supporters in the world. What else have we got? I read VVD knock thing as well, Sir Anthony Peters. Somebody else said it's not a knock, he's ill. Meet up with the legend Mark Goldbridge. Look, if we're ever in that neck of the woods, I probably will drop Mark a bell and see if we can meet up and do something together. Hopefully we're going to do something again with Mark for March for the United game. Those of you that have been watching the channel know that I went on the United stand and did a preview with Mark for the last game, and he was gracious enough to come on here after we beat them and did a reaction show with us, which was very nice of him. So yeah, if I'm ever around that neck of the woods, I will certainly give him a bell and see if we can do something. Surprised you're still alive, Craig. Sorry, I'm late. Was on a bit earlier. My voice is absolutely fucked, Tony. I'm not gonna lie. Nearly 5 hours yesterday of talking, and then today as well. Yesterday when I came off, I had a massive fucking headache. It took hours for it to go away. I think it was from looking at the ring light for that long. It's only Tuesday. Loads of time for VVD, said Brian Morrissey, which is spot on. Absolutely spot on. Right, a few more comments. Who are your substitutes for the Brighton game? Jesus Christ, I don't never think about substitutes now that I mention it. Lallana, Shaqiri. We need a defender, don't we? In there, fucking hell. Camacho. Origi. How many are we allowed? What is it? 4 or 5? 5 subs now, is it? Is it 5 or 6? How many subs are we allowed on the bench in the Premier League? I know it changes for the Premier League and for the cup games in the Champions League. I can't imagine VVD missing out. He's a monster, said True Morgan. I did try ask Mark earlier, but he didn't read it. Will you be doing any more stuff with him when we play United? Will it be different than the last game? I think so. There was a vague bit of communication about the next game, but look, I'm not going to hold him to anything. He could have different thoughts when the game comes up. We'll wait and see what happens. But look, he knows my door's always open if he wants to give me a bell. 7 subs in the Premier League. There you go. Thank you for that one, pal. 7. Right, so there we go. The goalkeeper, Camacho, Lallana, Milner, Origi, Sturridge. I don't know, another defensive body if we have one lying around. He played with broken ribs, so he'll probably still play, said Luke. Moussa Dembele to China for 9 million is a bargain. Don't they have that thing in China now though, that even though they're paying 9 million, they have to pay another 9 million into some fund to bring through young Chinese footballers or something? I think they've introduced 100% tax on foreign imports. From the LFC official page, he sustained a knock to an already bruised rib during the encounter versus Southampton. It's not cool, but should not be too serious. I'd imagine, look, he will definitely be fucking playing. They'll strap him up, they'll fill him full of painkillers, and they'll put him out onto the field because it's too fucking important not to play him. Why does the word sex keep popping up on my timeline here? What the fuck is going on, you weirdos? Right guys, look, we've 15 minutes to go, so if you're watching, there's anything you want to talk about, lash it in the chat and we'll go through it. Favourite food topping, said Alpha G. Ham. I'm pretty basic, mate, just ham and cheese for me. What are we? We're 1 subscriber away from 7,200. So if you're watching and you haven't yet hit that button, you want to be a legend, please do so. Help us hit that target and tick over a little bit more, because hitting the 7,200, you want to hit a few more over it just in case people change their mind and actually realise that we're just shit and change their mind. Happy 7.2 everyone, said Jose. What a quick change from that international break back in October. Yeah, that was fucking depressing. Honestly, I was thinking back about that the other day. Everything was really quiet in the channel. We were getting 400 or 500 views, I think, on a video, maybe 6. And I was thinking, shit, are we not going anywhere? Is this coming to an end? And then things started to tick over, and now look at us, we're flying along, which is brilliant. 15 minutes left. This is where we get weird, said Alpha G. Pepperoni. Anyone else is mad, says Dave. I don't like pepperoni, Dave. I don't know why. Maybe I'm a pussy. I don't know. I just like ham. That's about it. And even at that, I'm a fussy fucker with the ham. What's your LFC team of the year for 2018? There's not enough time in 15 minutes, buddy, to go through that one. Which game in this season would you want to redo? It has to be the City game. I mean, it's the only one we've lost in the league, so that, because we got through in the Champions League in the end, so everything there was okay. Yeah, for me, the City game. Tony Kelly said, Craig, we have a meet up in the pub. We all watch Liverpool match. It's only an idea. You would pack out a pub. Look, as I said, always available. A couple of pubs have been in contact with us before to do a little few bits and pieces, but I didn't think we were ready to do it. Yeah, look, maybe we definitely want to do something this year, and we will be doing something 100% for the last game of the season. We're definitely going to be doing something. We'll be in Liverpool for that one. Last 15 minutes, what we should take for Markovic on a swap deal. That's a bit of fun, actually. Good idea, Tom. Right, so for the last few minutes, what swap deals would you take for Lazar Markovic? Doesn't have to be players here. You can be creative on it. What would you like to see Liverpool accept in a swap for Lazar Markovic? What's he worth? Would you rather fight 5 Moreno-sized Van Dijks or 10 Neymar-shaped DTs? Right, let me think this through, actually. Probably 5 Moreno-sized Van Dijks. Yeah, I'd say so. There'd be a lot less weight there. Yeah, I'd go for the 5 Moreno-sized Van Dijks. We're looking at buying Bruno Fernandes from Sporting for 35 million. Fresh news, said Soldier. Where's that come from, buddy? I'd like to have a look at this afterwards as well, just to make sure that yeah, because I like to look at transfers. So again, if you can tell me where you've seen that, that would be great. Got some nice Adidas yesterday. Don't miss the January sale, said Jose. Mate, if you could see on top of my wardrobe now, you'd know I don't miss out when it comes to trainers. I've got 8 or 9 pairs, I think, in boxes up there now that I haven't worn yet. Excuse me. Indian curry for me, said John Hamilton. I don't like Indian food, mate. It's too spicy, and I'm a pussy, as I said. Fancy coming to the supporters club here in Somalia? We'll watch a game and then go steal a cargo ship, said Super QWERTY. I don't think I'll be able to afford the airfare over, mate, in all honesty. I can't get to sleep, said Kieran. Well, being on here watching us, mate, I hope that doesn't send you to sleep. That's the wrong thing. That's not what we're trying to do. Markovic for a KFC, said Soldier. I mean, a bargain bucket. I mean, there's a swap right there. I'd swap Markovic to give Klopp a spliff, said G.I. Jose. A good cheese and ham pizza, said James Doherty. Craig, we're linked with a Porto defender. He's very young and looks like another Joe Gomez, said Tony Kelly. A weekend pass to Laser Quest. Do they still exist? Those whole Quasar, Laser Quest type places, are they still in existence? Good Pepper, how are you, sir? Both eager and edgy about the Brighton game. Sell Markovic for 1 million subscribers. Abso-fucking-lutely. I mean, that would be a fair deal for everybody, wouldn't it? A Big Mac for Markovic, said Kieran. Deal. Yeah, look, I'd give him to United. I would drive him up the M62, mate, personally, and deliver him to United if you want him. Markovic for Hummels, said Gary Richards. Yeah, would they want him though? They'd probably see that as an insult, Gary, if we try to include that in the deal. Daddy Pig for Markovic. More stamina, said True Morgan. Daddy Pig. Any parents or anybody who knows Peppa Pig will know who the fuck Daddy Pig is. Serious question. Heroes, chocolates or roses? Heroes for me, Tony. Yeah, I'd say heroes. Swap Markovic for a ham pizza, said Dave. Militao from Porto was a beast. That's the guy that was the 42.5 million quid buyout clause, I think. Markovic for Messi. I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's only fair. Icardi for Markovic. A year's supply of Pringles. I mean, yeah, that seems realistic. And none of the fucking small ones that you try and get in the pound shop. The proper 190 gram size. Markovic for a jelly bean that's been down the back of the sofa for a month. Again, depends on the flavour, Crosby Red, because if it's green, I'm probably giving that a wipe and eating it and letting, fuck Markovic. According to the United stand, Koulibaly is close to signing, said Kieran. I haven't watched Mark's latest videos, mate, so I haven't seen what he's been saying, nor have I actually been looking into United's transfer as much, so I'll have to take your word for that. I'd rather take Dr. Hamster, said G.I. Jose. 5 bags of hardwood logs. That shit is expensive, said Brian. Get yourself some oil, Brian, for fuck's sake. None of this burning logs and coal shite. Get yourself some oil, son. It's the way forward. It's probably the way backwards, actually. There's probably much cleaner energy efficient fuels, but for me, that's what we use. I would swap James Pearce toes for Markovic. Rod would like a little wiener and swap that for Markovic. Or are we just calling him a little wiener? Either way, it all makes sense. A week's supply of petrol, said Thomas Boland. Again, depends how much mileage you do, mate, but for me that would probably be about 30 quid. Markovic's new ball boy would be more use, said Dave Serene. Rodgers hasn't even gone in for Markovic. Come on, Brendan, said Neil Anthony. Although Celtic did sign a player today. I don't know who he is, some American kid. Lazar for a bag of M&Ms for Craig, said G.I. Jose, and again, that's only fair. Swap deal, we get some oil from the east so we can spend money on transfers. Tic-tac, said True Morgan. Never mind, the title's a lie, said Kieran. Markovic for Sinclair. For a Sinclair C5, sorry, I think you meant a Citroen C5, Jason. You probably meant the Citroen C5. 30 quid seems a fair deal to Thomas Boland. Crosby Red said Markovic for a corner flag will be involved in every match. It's a fair swap. An all-inclusive budget holiday to Spain. Again, it would depend on the hotel, mate. You're probably not going to get a 5-star. You might be looking at an allocation on arrival type holiday for Markovic. I'd swap him for a boyfriend, said Kirby. I mean, why not? Why not? Seems realistic. Again, he's probably not worth a human being though. A good human being that you'd need for as a boyfriend, Kirby. Markovic for a dodgy porno, a dirty old dodgy porno. I would take 10 million for Markovic. I think he'd be good to play in Turkey. I don't know, Tony. We just can't get the fucker out of the club at this point. I don't think we're going to get a penny for him. I think we're just happy to get rid of the fucker. Timothy Weah, Sir Brian Morrissey. Akinfenwa. There you go. He'd fucking burst him, wouldn't he? No fucking about with Akinfenwa. A goal post, said Rod. Are we linked with him, Brian? That guy, Timothy Weah, you're talking about, or is that just a random name? Markovic for a nice Nando's. A nice one, not a cheeky one. Has that phrase gone now with cheeky Nando's? Because I was fucking sick of hearing it. I don't even think it's that nice, actually. How about we send Markovic to non-league to sweep the stadium? Yes, put him to good use, put him to work, make him earn a fucking wage. Get Markovic on as a guest. I'd probably just go on a rant, Peter McPhee face, and he would leave, and I'd be banned from ever talking to a club employee again. Markovic for Karius. Now he's been doing bits over in Besiktas. Oh, the Celtic signing. Thank you. There you go. That shows you how little I've been paying attention to what's going on there. Yes, thank you. This is George Weah's son. Oh, I thought it was his cousin or something. Yeah, his son. Nice one. Why does Moreno always go into a tackle with his arms behind his back? Because he's a fucking cabbage, Tommy. That's why. And if he's not doing that, he's going with his left foot across his body, a la Dejan Lovren, which does my fucking head in, except he does it with his right foot. How much does he get paid a week at Liverpool? I think it's about 40 grand. I think. I had the list a while ago, but I think I deleted it. Love to do a phone in, Craig, with me on a live stream. It'd be funny as fuck. We've done them after games before, David, mate, so it's definitely something we can do again. How much is Markovic getting? I think it's about 40 grand. I did have the list. I just haven't got it. I deleted it a while ago because so many of the players' wages have been updated since then. Markovic could do community service to earn those wages. I love when Origi scores and you call him Big Cock Divock. I mean, that's it, Fernand. That's his name, mate. You've earned him that name, and that's what he shall be known as while he's here. Right, guys, look, I'm going to call it a night, if that's okay. My voice is starting to struggle a bit. But look, as you know, I'll be back tomorrow night at 10:15, and we'll go through it all again. So until then, thank you so much for everyone that's been on tonight, for everyone that's subscribed, for everyone that's liked the video. I'll chat to you all tomorrow at the same time. Look after the families, tell your loved ones that you love them, and up the motherfucking Reds.